Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Today we'll talk about how to keep the beavers well fed and have their thirst quenched. The video will be split in 4 chapters. Understanding the beaver needs, types of farm layouts, when and how to build them, what to prioritize at the beginning for the most output, and then the last final topic would be forester and what trees to plant and when to plant them. Before we go any further, I'd like to make a disclaimer. These are averages based on my research and personal beaver watching expertise. I've factored in how far these little engineers travel for food and the time it takes them to harvest. Of course, the real science involves decimals, but beavers aren't that great with those. So let's keep it simple and rounded. If you're a number cruncher iron teeth machine, this video will definitely irritate you. Now, let's roll with our first chapter. So let's understand what a beaver needs to survive. Beavers, on average, they consume 3 pieces of food per day and 2 pieces of water to keep them full and quenched. Beaver faction does not matter, you can be a folktail or an iron teeth. They both eat the same. It also doesn't matter if the beavers are overworked or slacking in the field. They will keep on eating the same amount. Moreover, food type doesn't matter, be it carrots, bread, or maple pastries. Their hunger bar will fill up to the same amount. The only caveat I found is that they hate berries. Beavers from both factions will eat berries if and only if there are no other food sources available. Now, let's talk about farm layouts and how to build them. The first one is near river layout. This one will be guaranteed your first thing that you're going to use. It's simple but has some downsides. So, the first criteria when looking for a farm location would be to be close to the river. As you can see over here, because we have the river, we have enough green land to build our farm. I'm going to put a farmhouse down in a way where it encroaches as much space as possible. And let's make some roads for it. With the farm down, we can actually start planting the food that we need. These are found under planting crops, and usually the first food will be one that doesn't require anything else to process. So we can start placing some of these, even other types, and try to follow as much as possible the riverbed. Remember, nearby your farmhouse, you also need to put a storage to store the crops that you are going to collect. And this is it. Now, let's talk advantages. It's easy to set up. It works on elevated terrain. It costs the bare minimum of resources. Now, let's talk about disadvantages. Bad tides will wreck your crops if you don't deviate its course. Also, droughts will kill your plants if drought lasts way too long than you expect. Bonus tip. Let's discuss about the prioritized action. In the farmhouse, you have 2 prioritization options: planting and harvesting. Planting is good when you have a permanent farm that you don't need to babysit. Harvesting is best at the beginning when droughts and bad tides will threaten your farms. Let's discuss the next layout style. In this one, we're gonna create a mid-game farm using levees and water pumps. Let's start firstly with a small channel over here just like this. Now, if we put a single water pump up and connect it to our village, a beaver will come and fill in all of this area. We can already start seeing the greenery appear. This type of water channel will create a row of 5 things to plant. So if we check over here, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Yes, this one also counts over here. This is pretty good. We can just plonk a farm over here, build it, and then we can add some stairs that go across the channel that we created. Now the farm is connected on both sides, and as you can see, we have quite a big planting spot. Let's assume that you want to extend your farm. This way you can plant way more crops. Start by placing a platform at the beginning of the channel. Then count 11 spots between the first platform and the second platform to be put. Then plonk it down. And let's fill them up with leaves. Let's do the same for the first channel. And let's realize our mistake over here. Let's cut to the part where I fixed it already. Good. As we can see, the beaver already started pumping water into the main channel. So now we're safe to actually delete the branch channel's leaves. Due to the size of the farm, we're gonna need a secondary water pump to be able to cope with the amount of water we're gonna need to fill it in. A tip I have for you guys is to use the stream gauge to see how much water is in the channel. Best if you have somewhere between 0.20 and 0.95 water, because at the upper end beavers will stop pumping water. This way you're 100% sure that all farm plots will get the water they need. Let's now connect the farmhouse with the main road, so the beavers can actually get to the farmhouse in order to plant stuff. If you paid close attention to the land, you're gonna notice that there are some spots that seem to not have green on it. That's perfectly fine. Don't worry, the plants are still gonna grow on it and they're not going to suffer from no water. Let's prove this by actually planting some stuff and waiting for the beavers to come and do the work. As we can see, everything got planted. If we check in the middle, the plants are healthy and watered, and also growing. Now, let's talk about the advantages of this type of build. Once set up, you're no longer in danger of having bad water or droughts affecting the farm. It will keep on running at maximum efficiency as long as you got water stored so you can refill the channel in the middle. As for the disadvantages, it costs a large amount of wood, so try to keep it as small as possible at the beginning of the game. Also, I recommend completely skipping this method and going directly to the next one, as this one is only useful if you don't have steel unlocked. With that out of the way, let's see the next layout. For the fourth type, you're going to need dynamite unlocked so you can build it. because it requires steel for it to be unlocked. Also, that's why it's a late game layout, but it's worth it if you can do it. Basically, it follows the same principle as the third type of layout, except we're no longer needing VVs, we're gonna use the actual terrain to our advantage. We're going to create a big line of dynamite and then start with the first channel over here. We're gonna go up. And now we're gonna start counting 11 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. On the 11th row, we're gonna put dynamite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Good. Now let's blow the dynamite. And we have our channels built. Let's also put the water pumps. And fast forward the game a bit. What I also like to do when building this layout is to actually put some of these platforms down. These have two roles. The first one is that it covers up the channel in a pretty way. The second one is that it will allow the beavers to access it, and also it will allow the farmhouse to cover a wider range. As we can see at the moment, by only having platforms at the very end, the center of it's cut off. Therefore, the farmhouse doesn't have that much of a range. But if we start placing more platforms down, we're gonna see that the range extends. Let's do this on the other side also. And here we go. Now the farmhouse can access all of the green land. We can give them plants and watch them grow. Of course, we're just also needing the pathing. Good, let's now fast forward. If you noticed in the sped clip, I have placed the second farmhouse down, because one was not enough. The amount of farmhouses needed can vary depending on many factors, so my only recommendation is to start with one and add on top whatever amount you need to plant and harvest everything. As a bonus, let's talk a bit about the beehives. Its role is to reduce the growth time of plants by 30%. Moreover, be very careful, although the beehive can cover a 7x7 area, it will only boost a 6x6 area. Therefore, make sure you overlap for maximum efficiency. Also, I keep them far away from populated roads, as the beavers will get stung by these critters. The beehives only pollinate plants and not trees, so make sure you include them only in farmhouses and aquatic farmhouses, with the caveat that you need to keep them out of the water, so make sure you take a platform and build it on top of it. Which, by the way, let's jump to the next farm layout. The iron teeth have a special type of tree called mangrove that you cannot plant on land. It will simply die out if we try to plant it. So the only way to properly do it is to plant it in water. Let's make over here a 2 wide channel, and afterwards let's create the place where we're gonna plant the mangroves. Let's detonate everything. And let's use the sluice here to make sure that only good water comes in. We can also leave it at 0.95. We're gonna put some wooden stairs here so the beavers can go downstream, and then plant our mangrove. Of course, mangroves use the forester in order to plant it. Let's also create a path for our beavers to come over here. Now, this person started planting the mangrove. As long as there's enough water, at least 0.01, this mangrove will survive. For safety reasons, what I also like to do is to just place down a fluid pump and also a water tower, just to make sure that they will always have enough water. So this way there's absolutely no chance for this area to remain without water. And that's all about the aquatic farms. Therefore, let's move entirely to the next chapter. Before going further, this video was made because you have commented and liked the last tutorial I've made. Until now, I only guessed what you wanted to watch. Help me stop that precision guesswork, and make sure to subscribe and hit that like button and leave a comment of what you would like to see next, or actually what you learned from this tutorial. It helps me a lot to know what other in-depth tutorials you're interested in watching. That's all I wanted to mention, so let's get back to the video. Be warned, the next section is all about numbers. Don't feel sad if you're getting a headache, that's why I'm here. I did the math so you don't have to do it. Also, the final results are inflated by 10%, just so I eliminate any random factors like the beaver commute time or the weird working hours you might set. Well, without further ado, let's check the Folktails food processing. For simplicity, let's focus on the farm plots for 10 beavers. So the one type column is there if you will feed the beavers only one single food type. For example, let's take carrots. You need 44 tiles planted in order to make sure that 10 beavers have enough food to survive permanent. Now let's take the 2 types. This means that you will feed your beavers 2 types of food. Let's take carrots and bread as an example. If you plant carrots and wheat, then you will need 11 wheat tiles and 22 carrot tiles to keep 10 beavers permanently fed. Be careful, as if you want to mix maple pastries with bread, you will need a total of 33 tiles of wheat, as both products use wheat in their recipe. Ultimately, you will want 8 types of food in total, so I left how many tiles are needed in here. With the math out of the way, let's discuss priorities. Focus on carrots firstly, then grilled potatoes, and after you unlock gears, go for bread, maple pastries, chestnuts, and then focus getting sunflower seeds. After you unlock explosives, you can finish off with cattail crackers and grilled spatterlock. If you're a number cruncher, the grey area is for you. Great, now let's move on to Iron Tails. But beware, I'm unsure what human decided the rates for them, but my god, they are complicated. I guess that's why Iron Tails have the number cruncher, because it's not for science, but actually to calculate how much food they need. Anyway, here's the sheet. There are several reasons why this looks so messy. Firstly, there are 3 separate foods that use canola oil. Secondly, Iron Thief have the hydroponic garden with very weird ratios. Basically, the time to grow mentioned here is only for beavers working 16 hours per day. Mess with the working hours and this map gets in the trash bin. Oh, I forgot to mention, you can reduce the grow time to 6 days for mushrooms and 10 days for algae if you're using 2 robots. So make sure you do this when you're planning for these food types. There's no reason for me to point you to look at farm plots, as you already know it from Folktails. So let's move directly to what to prioritize. Firstly, you should go with cocoa berries. Once you have enough power unlocked, start planting cassavas. Then try to plow your way through to getting steel unlocked, and afterwards focus on fermented mushrooms, corn rations, eggplant rations, coffee, mangrove fruits, algae rations, and at last the fermented soybeans. As for the fourth topic, the best trees to plant for wood are pine trees at the beginning of the game and oak trees after you've secured yourself a farming land that isn't affected by bad waters and drought. As you can see, in the town that I've made a live stream on, I only have oak trees planted with some chestnuts and maple in the background. The last 2, I've solely used them only for food and robot catalyst. And that should be all to cover everything you need to know to become a master farmer in Timberborn. Or is it? I've omitted a 6th farm layout. To see it, go check my previous tutorial about water towers. I'll put it at the end of the video, that way you can use 0 beavers to maintain your farm irrigated during droughts and bad tides. If you've learned something new in this video, remember to like and subscribe for more Timberborn or other upcoming city builder and survival game tutorials. If you want to watch how my beavers, how they got from 0 to hero, and also my evolution as a content creator, click the playlist displayed here. If not, go watch the other tutorial. Until next time, Badger out.